Now you. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the swamp. Say a great big welcome to Silvia. A Bit Intuitive is her new channel name. She changed the name of the channel. So you just find her online. It's been a while since you've been on, about a year, I think, almost. And
5 months or
on
so.
there, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I lose track. I see somebody and I think, I need to email them. They haven't been on in a while. And then next thing I know, 6 months has gone by. I was like, I forgot to email.
Hi Amanda. Yeah, it's the same place. It's not like I got off of color. It was colorful foresight for some of you don't know, and
Yeah.
then I just changed the name. I didn't change the whole channel. It's still about the woo, which we all are, right? A bit intuitive, meaning we all are, and
Yeah.
we're all living in a seen and unseen life, right? So yeah, and one of the funnest memory I have from doing colorful foresight is connecting with Shari. I met a few people through the community, but Shari, we had some interesting, like, I get woo experience where the divine connected us to get more into like the mediumship and things like that. So I took a break because I needed it. And as a woman, I was going through perimenopause, so that was rough, man. Oh my God. Um, and then the election, woo, that shook me out. But
It did that to all of us. It did that to all of us. We're still recuperating. I know I do a daily lunch break musings video on my lunch break every day. It's like maybe 10 or 15 minutes long. I'll pull 6 cards and just read on the general temperature. Every now and again, I'll have a specific question, but usually it's just kind of like a general temperature of where everybody's at in the country today. And it no matter how depressing the cards can be some weeks with things going on, there will still be 1 or 2 cards in the mix. It's like, no, hold on to this. It's my guides keep telling me we got more battles. It's probably going to get bloody. Hopefully not, but I hope they mean that metaphorically and not physically. And but then they tell me in the end we win. We just have to get through the now to get to what's coming.
y-
And
you
so
know, what good, like, especially, I know you do political reading on your own, but you do with a lot of different people. Because I feel like it's helpful to have you need that because it is such
absolutely.
a wow. The thing with me is I have a little bit of challenge reading the bad news. So if you want to read politically or anything, you have to see the full picture. What I tend to do, I see the big picture, but the detail is when I have a little bit of a challenge. And that's what a bit intuitive is. It's not about you guys who are watching going, oh, look at these two people on YouTube. Everybody's intuitive. It's just some people may be more into it. They're more inclined. It's in their family line and all that. So one of the biggest lessons I'm learning is how can I handle the bad news? And it's not always about like being doom and gloom. It's like what Cherry said. She sees the not so great, but you also have the positive to it. You have to get through the whole thing. But if I'm only showing this piece and I'm not sharing this piece, you're not really getting the full thing. So that's what I've been learning the past year about seeing the whole thing, and
Yeah. And and I try, I mean, there are some that they're very doom and gloom when they're doing their readings. And there are some that are very Pollyanna when they're doing their reading. So I try to get a mix of both, figuring they kind of balance each other out. And then I sit in the middle, um, because I see the bad that's coming. And I know it's going to be really hard and it's going to affect a lot of people that I care about, and possibly even affect me, which could be very real. Um, but my guides just keep coming back and telling me, just, deal with the battles as they come, ride it out, because in the end we win, and everything's going to be self-corrected, or we're going to be able to get in and correct the way things should be going, not just in our country but globally, help other areas as well. um,
Well, I
there's
was thinking,
a long time to It's going to take a long time for us to repair the damages that the current idiot is bestowing on us.
right?
Um, uh,
Wait, I remember when I was doing reading on Elon Musk. Guys, listen, 2 years ago or something. This is part of being a bit intuitive, by the way. Um, and I remember reading him. It was kind of like with rose-colored glasses. And I remember seeing the card at the end popped up, Seven of Sword. A Seven of Sword is a sneaky person. But I remember I dismissed it because I didn't want to see it.
yeah,
And also the night of the election with Kamala, because we all saw that she
Nikki
won. I
Maria,
mean,
yeah,
I kept
keep
seeing
going.
all these cards at the end, like the Five of Sword, the this, and I was like, oh, maybe it's because people are gonna fight that she won. I didn't. The thing is, I actually do see it, but I have to acknowledge it, and I kind of like go, no, 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 no. And in order to read, for example, we're seeing like one of the benefit of, I guess, the Orange Menace being in office. We got to see so much about not just what's going on, but also what's not going great about the Democrat. Also, a lot of us with our intuition, we got to see like, oh, how come we didn't da 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 da, So it's a bigger
Well, it,
picture
it
thing.
it showed us the cracks in the foundation of
Yeah,
what we're built on. Um, it's bringing to light the fact that while this country is talked about as being founded on freedom and liberty and blah blah blah, it was slave owners that started it. There have always been a group of people, from African Americans to the Irish to the German to the whatever group, that comes in because they escape hardships in their country and come to our country, and then they're like all treated like there's something wrong with them, and it's like they want the same things that we all want, that were born here. I mean, and unless you're a pure-blooded Native American, you come from immigrants. Somewhere back in the line, somebody came here from somewhere else. So that's what gets me, is that it seems like the ones that um, are closest in the lineage of immigration, like a grandparent immigrant or a great grandparent, it seems like those are the ones that are more adamant about not wanting to let other people in. And it's like, well, good thing that rule wasn't around when your grandmama or your great grandmama was trying to get here, because you wouldn't have been born here. You know, you would have been born somewhere else. And
you
and
know
that's
what's
one of the
right?
great things about America, is people from all stripes, all colors, all races, all religions can come to this country, and with hard work and study, and you take the test, you can become an American. You know, it's like you can go live in Germany, you can become a German citizen, but you're not German. You're just a German citizen or a French citizen or an Irish citizen, but you're not Irish, you're not French, you're not German. You don't become that race just because you go there and decide to live there, unless your lineage is that particular race. So that's part of
You
the
know
joy
what?
I think of
It,
this
it,
country
it
is.
it's so much going on. It's not. I mean, it's like the light and dark thing going on. We know that. We got to see that the Orange Menace is working with other dictators, as we know. So this is like a lot of countries are seeing their strength without the USA, but also USA XYZ. But anyway, I want to kind of. I was telling Sherry in another video. I mean, in another email. I was like, or in a text. I was like, I wanted to talk about, as far as like being intuitive, all of us, how we are seeing things, but we're not recognizing it or wanting to see. Like I was just sharing earlier about the stuff that I was seeing, but I couldn't be with it, right? So, for example, and I know Tony Robbins have talked about this, but it's something that I saw before I heard it from Tony Robbins, which means that this is the universal principle, not from any person to get. A lot of time we get information and then we see somebody else talk about it because it's a universal principle thing. So, for example, all of you right now, hello everybody, and please connect to my channel a bit intuitive. I haven't been on it, so I'm gonna start getting
Everything's in the description box below, so make sure you go and visit Sylvia's channel and like and subscribe. It's free. And share.
Sherry's gonna be on my channel March 28th around 2. So we'll probably do a game thing, some kind of intuitive game thing. So, for example, all of us right now, look in the front of the room. Just kind of look from the left to the right. Just kind of look. I'm giving you guys a minute.
Thank you, Jackie. Jackie, just put your channel in the chat so people can go and.
So everybody look in front of you. I know I'm kind of skipping around, but they're kind of going with what the topic we've been talking about the first 11 minutes. So just kind of look around the room. I'm going to say a word, and I'm going to say the color black. Now, you notice how the black, like for me, I see the black TV. I'm seeing the black rim in the notebook. I'm seeing the black pen and different things. It was there. It's just that we have too many things in front of us to notice. Okay? So now I'm going to say a different color. A child, remember focusing intently on small things, feel entire room grow. Wow. It's amazing. Yeah. I remember watching cartoon. Everything was so alive. Like I watch cartoon now. It's not like that. The mind was so like vibrant as a kid. But okay, let's go back to the room. Now look in front of you. I'm going to say red. Now, I don't really have a lot of red in front of me. I don't know if you have red, but I see a red on a sticker. You might see the red, right. Now, all these things were there. It's just that too many things in front of us. So that's the same thing with intuition. For example, supposedly we have spirit guides, right? And then the energetic form. So that's the seeing thing, but it's a focus thing, with intuition. So that's the same thing with even with doing politics or doing reading. We may be seeing it, but not acknowledging it, And even like when I do some videos on miracles and sharing about the miracle. Because if I'm like on my negative state, all I'm going to notice like the front of the room is a negative state. So it had to do with your state of being, things like that. And also like going with what's going on with our current USA stuff, their job is to make us in chaos and fear, right? So that's why, like last night, Sherry went out with her son, and she had a great time. There's somehow we have to keep our vibration up, and that could be
home at 1 a.m.
Right, just having coffee with your friends again because they want to keep us in that chaos, that energy, and also they want us to disconnect from our intuition with all the gaslighting. You know what I mean? So I don't know where I'm going with it, but that's what I'm going to do on my channel a lot, like kind of do games where it's like, what are we not seeing that's already there?
Yeah.
Like peace.
That's what I try to do daily on my lunch break musings, and sometimes like I said, sometimes I have a specific question. Someone will email me or message me and say, can you do a reading on this topic or on this person? And then I do, or I'll see something in the news that morning and be like, okay, Spirit's like, do a reading on that person or that situation. But generally, I'm just doing like a general, like I said, temperature check. And it helps keep me grounded to kind of know the kind of where is the vibe for everybody, because you're not going to get a really accurate picture of what the vibe for the country is by watching the news, because they're all so skewed it's not even funny. And I clicked on a video the other day that it looked like it was Glenn Kirshner, and he's doing this, that it took me a couple of minutes of watching to realize, okay, that's not him. That's AI. That's like a deep fake that somebody's doing. And they're doing it like they're him. They're talking like him. They making some of the movements, but they were like too still. Glenn's very
The mouth
expressive
was
with his
weird,
face.
right?
Yeah, the mouth was weird, and the head didn't really move. And Glenn's very expressive, and he tends to move around a lot when he's talking on camera. And this wasn't it. Like I said, it took me a couple of minutes to realize, okay, this is a deep fake that somebody put out there. Now, it wasn't a negative message that they were putting out per se, but it was misleading information, which can be just as bad, because then people get confused. Well, I saw Glenn Kirshner talking about blah, 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 blah. And now you're telling me that's not true. Well, then that mars his reputation, as well as make others think, well, they're just as bad as the right. They're not, nobody's telling the truth. So, you have to, when you see anybody it's like the channel name isn't quite right, or you watch after a minute or two and you're like, that doesn't look or sound like how that person would normally interact. Contact, send a message to that person on their channel and say, hey, here's the link. Somebody's doing a deep fake of you, and this is the video they were doing. That way they can go in and have it removed and do something about it. But that's part of our vigilance of keeping up with what's going on. And it's like, I used to be a 24/7 news junkie. I watched it morning, noon, and night. And it got to the point where it was starting to physically make me ill watching the news every day like that. And so I'll go days and I don't look at the news at all unless something drastic happens. I usually wait until the day I'm going to be doing a political show. And then I'll go in and I'll catch up on kind of like currently what's going on, who's doing what to whom and what they're saying. So I have a general idea of what's happening. And I like sleep so much better now. I'm so much more peaceful now. I'm not watching that crap all the time.
You know what? When I was doing politics, I was like 3 years ago. Then even before I stopped this year, I was slowing down even 6 months before that. I was inundated with politics. I mean, like psychically. And so I don't know. I mean, I would, if somebody invite me to a show, I would do politics, but I don't know if I want to, because then I get inundated with it. You know what I mean? Kind of like that scene thing. Like we're looking things around us, our room. If I'm in politics, everything politics popped up.
Well, it's like like I was telling you backstage, Nathan and I do 2 shows a month together. One is on his channel, and it's a pre-recorded show where we do a deep dive on 1 or 2 topics or 1 or 2 people. And he's been helping me navigate how to kind of remote view someone.
I saw you doing that.
And
like, oh.
It's freaky as hell when it happens and you feel weird, but I do it with Nate because Nate knows and understands it well enough. He can pull me out if I start, getting too deep or start freaking out.
You don't want
to. He's able to just like yank me out of it. And so I'm like, that's about the only person I do that with, because he knows how to pull me out, because I go in and then I get too deep. And it's weird. It's really, really weird when it happens. It's hard to express in words, just the way you feel like you're spying on somebody, but at the same time, sometimes you go in and it's like you become that person, like you're seeing through their eyes of what's going on. And that's even weirder because then you kind of plug into their thoughts and it's like, okay, these people got a sick brain. There's something wrong with them. Um,
No, I'm gonna say that's a little freaky because I do the thing and it's related. It's not like I'm randomly changing topic, but it's related to what you're saying. I do this
yeah,
with oneness, and oneness would be like oneness group on the oneness movement, and they were like, "You need to pray for everybody." I'm like, "Heck no, I can't pray for the guys I don't like." But if you're really like enlightened, or I don't I couldn't do it in the beginning, but then I start sending the light to like Margaret Taylor Greene and Susan Wilde, which ironically they start opening their mouths. So I'm wondering if we were like all over ourselves and we pray for everybody else. But wait. Then I was sending light, not me. I'm not touching their energy. I just tell the light go to like Stephen Miller and Trump. I start getting dream about vampirism. So
yeah,
sometimes I wonder if they could recognize you going into their energy, going with what you're talking about with remote viewing. There's certain things you don't want to touch their energy. So I would never pray for certain energy on my own, even though I'm not praying using my energy. I'm asking, the divine. Unless I'm in a huge group, like 150 and up, could you need that light? Because I start getting all, and I said, I'm not praying for those people. I'm just praying for like the lighter type, like Margaret and Susan and, our people, our you know. So remote viewing, I think you got to really know what the heck you're doing before you go and enter into people's energy, especially people with not so great energy, right? What do you think?
yeah. I mean, we have to be able to reach out and do whatever we can. And I know that
No, but I mean like the remote viewing. If you're going into Trump and stuff, are you a
I,
little afraid of that?
I went into him already. That was like the first time I remote viewed was I went into and I like literally went into his brain
Ugh.
and
Uh,
I was like on the verge of upchucking everything I ate that day when I came out of it. I told Nate, I said, "Oh my God, don't ever have me do that again."
no, I'm serious. Like I think I kind
Because
of
it
know
was
why. You got
like
to be careful.
being in there and seeing the way his brain worked was terrifying because it's like he's not as stupid as he tries to make people believe. But on the other hand, he is still greatly ignorant and stupid about so many things. His gift is that he's able to talk his way out of that so that people are able to go, oh, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. Well, maybe he's not so wacky after all. No, he's that wacky and then some. And it's like being thrown into a sack with a bunch of wild cats and tied up and thrown in the river. And you're not only trying to deal with drowning, you're dealing with all these cats freaking out on you. That's what his brain felt like. It was like this guy is crazy. Like for entertainment purposes only, YouTube. This is just my opinion. Um,
Just my opinion, but just talking silly stuff.
yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, it was just it was weird. The first time I ever really channeled anyone was with you, and I got George Washington, and I was like, "Holy crap! I'm talking to George Washington." It just completely threw me. I don't remember what I said, but when I came out of it, you were like, "That was so awesome." I was just like, I don't know what happened. Um,
If I
and
remember,
then
I should put it up,
the
but it's like
next
old
time
news.
I really, the next time I really connected with someone to a channel was John Lennon when Paul and Ringo had found that old recording of his on a at home cassette deck or reel to reel deck that he had recorded for them, and then they were able to clean up the tape and pull out the resonance of what it would sound like if he was actually there and singing today. And the night I listened to it, I was in tears, and he came to me and it was so strong. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't. I've got the video in the my library somewhere there, but that
You
was
know,
wow.
I'm trying to remember, like that video. I don't have it up still because I'm only keeping certain things from my colorful foresight. Like I have the video of where Sherry talked about going into mediumship and connecting with her husband, and then we did a video on the Pledge of Allegiance. But we did a lot of other stuff that I kind of like put in private with, like I did with other people, because
Right.
it's an older energy. But what I do remember from not George so much, but you were channeling from Jesus, and Jesus would give you the Avenger stuff. And I remember the only thing I could say was that I there was a lot of reality check issues that we were having. I couldn't get in detail, but we're still seeing that. Even with everything that's going on, they're still supporting him. They don't, I've had somebody who's intelligent told me Jack Smith is not somebody to rely on. I'm like, oh my God, like it's a lot of like reality check stuff going on. That's why like Linda G did say when, after the election, she's like, what happened? Why did you make me do all this to only have what the name win? And it's because free will, she said, but also that his people will see. But even today, after a year, most of us, it's still an issue. You know what I mean? The reality check. But going back to the Jesus thing, do you remember the Avenger thing? Like time, it was like a time thing.
Vaguely, I rarely remember what I read on. It's like I vaguely remember. I think the biggest thing I remember when I wound up channeling Jesus was the immense amount of love that he had for everyone, for the world, and that his main message was you have to surround them with love. You have to
Oh,
unconditional love. I remember that. That's the one thing I remember strongest. I vaguely remember the Avenger stuff. I would literally have to go back and rewatch the
I think
video.
it's more of a timeline shift with a lot of us have seen, and probably a lot of it has to do
Okay,
with
yeah, that's what that that was what he was talking about. Was it was like in the Avengers Endgame movie, how they had to go back and get the stones, and it would change the timelines until they put the stones back at the same exact time that they took them out. And so that was in relation to everything that happened around the election. It because a lot of us felt it. We just shifted timelines. What's going on?
yeah,
This
right.
something's off here.
Hmm.
Um,
And we all don't. I don't know. I still feel like we're a bit off because it's just a weird time. I mean, but what I'm getting from spirit right now, going back, not only are we all a bit intuitive, but the focus thing, like I was saying about the room. So even though we're seeing all the, we may not be seeing, it doesn't mean that they're not there. 'Cause remember, you saw the red can, it was there in front of you, Sherry, but because there are too many things in front of us, you can't see unless you focus. So that means, guys, your spirit guides around you, you are seeing intuitively correctly, but you may not be recognizing it. Going back to that, but also going back to the timeline shift. That's why you've been hearing a lot of people talk about vibration. Like we have to keep our vibration high,
yeah,
because if we're gonna get stuck into the drama, because it's real, it's not like we could avoid it and do la la
and
la,
it's
pretend it's not happening. But at the same time, our fight and flight, we get stuck in that drama. But we have, that's why Sherry going out last night is a good example, or Jackie going to her friend tonight. We got to remember like the good thing too, because we have to support and nurture that energy. um I don't know.
exact. I mean, it's
And that's
um,
good with the timeline shift. We have to be aware that we're part of
we
that.
have, we have to, yeah, and And the thing that I keep getting told is send them love. Don't send hate out. Don't send anger and frustration out, even though you get angry and you are frustrated.
That's kind of hard,
Instead, and
right?
it's very hard when you're angry about something, when you're so shocked that your reaction is you want to be physical in a like in attack mode, almost like what happened to the woman in Minneapolis. So many people were like, "Oh, it's time to arm up and fight back." And it's like,
No,
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 that's not the answer. That's gonna make it worse.
and that's
But
what he
I
wants.
understand why people get to that point because of their anger and their frustration, and it seems like nothing is being done. And what gives me hope is a lot of these people that I see that are starting to react this way were his followers, not those on the left, but those on the right that were his followers. And they're starting to step back. And of course, Puppy Killer Lady and some of the others, they've started dropping hints about oh well, it's time we go door to door and collect up all the guns. People don't need to have guns now. For how many decades have the Republicans been screaming the Democrats are coming for your guns? No, the only ones that are coming for your guns are the Republicans. And
I know that's the thing. Like right now, they're fooling the Republican, but eventually, why would they want a bunch of Americans to have guns? Eventually, if they would take it away. By the way, just to change the energy a little bit, maybe I'm doing that thing again where I don't want to talk about the bad news, but that's
yeah,
okay. We got Sherry to help me balance it out. But one thing I keep seeing is ice melting. So I was like, is that wishful thinking? But ice, instead of ice
yeah,
melting, you
no,
know?
yeah, no, yeah. I've been the
I'm
biggest
hoping
thing that I keep getting shown is
that means they
like
get smaller and
the
smaller.
White House is empty. There's nobody there, no administration, no president, no nobody. It's empty. And I saw it, and it was like at Christmas time that I saw it. And I thought, as Christmas got closer and closer, I'm like, well, it doesn't look like, maybe it's
Yeah,
next Christmas. It wasn't this Christmas. But
right.
then they turned around like a couple of days later and they ripped out the East Wing, you know,
Uh,
and it's like, okay, well, that emptied out a whole lot of people because they got a big gaping hole in one side of the building and asbestos poisoning going on and whatnot. And so it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense now, and maybe the snow I saw falling in my vision was the asbestos falling. Just, because when something happens and then you sit back and it's kind of like what you saw, but it's a little bit different, just enough to realize, okay, my interpretation had to have been off because this is what's happening. And it's so close to what I saw that then you have to go back and reevaluate how you interpreted what you saw.
and that's the
And
big, but that's the big thing about being a bit intuitive. You don't have to be psychic. Just in life, like when the cops, they have a hunch and they go through the investigation, all that. There's that
yeah,
thing like, oh, I think it's this, but it might be a little off. But it was kind of like leading to the right thing. Like you kind of saw what was happening, not quite like the way you thought, but it was exactly like that. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just an interesting time. I could say a
it
lot of
is. And the one thing I know that I've been picking up, I know Mel and I have talked about it. He's been picking it up. The last time I read with Linda G, which was like just before Christmas, and she was definitely being shown this, and we talked about it backstage that our guides and stuff are wanting us to send love. It's real easy to send hate
oh my God,
and
so
anger and all of that, but it's like you will be more effective and do more harm to their cause by sending them love because they don't know how to react to love.
well
You know,
that's what I would try and do. I would try and send see,
it's the woman that
but then I get
got
those weird dreams. No way.
unalived in Minneapolis, you know, she literally was laughing out the window at him saying, dude, nothing against you. You know,
That's
y'all are
right.
cool. Y'all are cool.
And then what happened?
And yeah, you know, and so and I think it's because people saw that, and the reaction to that was to unalive her. And it was like, wait a minute, you know, that's not right. I mean, and of course, as more and more and more videos come out, the more cold blooded it's showing it to be.
Yeah, but you know
And
what?
this is
Let's talk.
fair.
Let's talk. All of it coming from a lot of you know each other and know sharing. Even for me, for some of the few that are in my channel, know from the community of the Woo, right? The the Cherry H and the Linda G and the Mel and all that. So we kind of like have an idea. So to actually see, I mean, we already know this, but still to witness JD Van 47 and Gnome to say, oh, Renee Goodwood, da 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 da. That was weird. Like we know that they're not great people,
Yeah.
but even with all the videos that's saying that, so I could just imagine, and especially you're talking about that particular piece that came later when Renee's like,
Yeah,
hey, yeah, da, da, da. Can you
this
imagine the
song, when
people
I
who are
first heard it back in the early
no,
70s when
but
it
I'm just
first
saying,
came out,
like, can you imagine
imagine
how shocked his
it
people must have been to
it
see them
became
lying
that
like that?
song, the lyrics in that song became my focus of how I wanted to live my life. And I have tried to live my life according to the words in that song since
Oh,
John Lennon wrote
imagine.
it back in the 60s. And it's really great when I like to watch a lot of young reactors who react to music from my generation, you know, getting blown away like, wow, they had some good music back then, you know, but some of them, they listen to some of these songs and they're like, holy moly. Well, that's not what they say, but, you know, they're like, I, I, I can't believe that was the message of this music. And now we got this crap stuff that's coming out. You know, it's like, yeah,
But but think
it's
okay, this example of what I was showing in the beginning about what is in front of us that we don't know. All these kids, right? Because they have crap lyrics and all that. They have all these music that been around them that they didn't even recognize. So kind of going back to maybe I'm trying to figure out why I'm keep bringing this up for this channel, but maybe it's more like yeah, the reality check is good that we're with the reality check because I'm having a hard time with it sometimes. But thankfully, I watched the community like all the people you're with to help me stay, you know, like da da da. But this is why, even though all this are happening, try to also, and not in a like try and escape reality kind of thing. The good news that are happening. For example, I saw ice melt. So I don't know why this had to happen. That this woman had to die. That his people could be like, wait a minute. They just said that she's a domestic terrorist. No, it's like we have to see what's in front of us. So that means that more good news will happen.
but
It's just
and
that we're not seeing it.
it's the nerve of the current occupant and his people of literally getting in front of a camera and telling people, don't believe what you say, believe what don't believe what you saw, believe what I say, even though it's the exact opposite of what you just witnessed, you know. Um, and that's where we have to put that armor up in front of ourselves and be like, you know, I'm not gonna. That's I think that's one of the reasons why he started losing so many of his followers is because they're seeing this stuff live as it's happening, and then they're being told the opposite happened, and it's like their brains can't grapple with what they saw as to what they're being told, which are two different things. And so um, that's uh, that's one of the hardest aspects of listening. It's like I had never had visions before, I would just know things, or they would talk to me in my ear and I
So
would
you
hear
you
them.
were like Claire.
And then it's been what, almost 2 years now. Suddenly I was getting visions. It's like a big giant movie screen appears in front of me and
So
I'm
that means
seeing.
everybody on this call gonna get their intuition developed too. If you're seeing your change, so will everybody else. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's funny because you're going
And
from
it's funny
knowing.
because it's like that was my mother's gift, was visions.
Oh,
And when I first started trying to delve into doing mediumship, because sometimes it would work and it's still like that. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. Um, but a lot of times she shows up. And the first couple of times it happened, I was like, what is my mother doing here? And she would be like, oh, you need to talk to Adam. Hey, Adam, over here, over here. You need to come talk to my daughter. She's
but
going to
that's a
connect
perfect
you to whoever,
example
you
of
know?
you having loved ones already around you. Like the
Yeah.
vision of front of us. What is in front of us we're not seeing. It's just maybe because you're doing so many videos, you're working actively. Now it's not like your mother just suddenly show up. You're just able to
As
now
my gifts develop and become stronger, then more and more things happen. Things that I thought would be impossible and I would never experience, 10, 15 years ago is now normal, regular thing. When I first started doing this channel, I didn't even attempt to tell anybody a reading without putting cards down. I still do my cards. And a lot of times when I'm answering
you're probably
questions,
not
I
gonna
do
even
my
use the card
cards
after a while.
but there's a lot of times now, especially if I'm with someone that doesn't use cards and it
Like
just comes
Mel.
to them.
Yeah.
With Mel, it's like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and it's just the information's just coming
Yeah,
at
also
me.
her too. Yeah, yeah.
And
I
Arthur's like
understand
that
that.
too.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I was using the cards. I actually didn't, but I was using when I was on my channel because I was kind of hiding behind it. And I found it like I liked it. I got a learning. I started to like using the tarot again, but I felt like it was kind of not helping my natural intuition. Because in life, we were walking around. You're not walking around with the cards, so you know
Oh, I
your
do.
natural
I
intuition.
keep it back in my purse.
No, but I mean, you're not gonna you go food shopping. Oh, I'm gonna pull out. It's like your intuition gonna kick in, through a feeling or through a
Yeah.
vision and things like that. But I mean, you know what? I don't know if you saw this, guys, and it made sense to me on Sterling Psychic Medium. First of all, a lot of intuitive have their theory. I don't want to say it's the deal. We have to take it for the grain of salt. But this made sense to me. He said everybody is a star seed because technically we're on Earth. I mean, he didn't say this part, but me hearing that, we're on Earth, right? There's so many things. We're like in the middle of the universe. So it would make sense that we are part of the star seed because before with spirituality, it was always like a few people. It was always like, but it makes sense. We're already part of the star seed. You know what I mean?
But
So
there was a lady, back when I first started doing my channel and
that's
stuff,
good, Deb.
and
100%.
there was a lady who would do starseed reports on you. And she would do this in-depth, astrological charts and starseed charts to trace back where you come from. Are you a Pleiadian? Are you an Arcturian? Are you which star system did you come from? And she would send out a report after she would do up the thing for you. And I got mine and it was blank about where I was coming from. And so I asked her, I'm like, well, there's nothing there. It's blank. And she was like, let me pull it up and look at it. She pulls it up, she looks at it, she says, oh, yeah, you're from the before time. I'm
From
like,
where?
before time? Before what? She says, before. And I'm like, before what? She says, you were here before the universes, in plural, were created. She says, before anything was created, you were part of those that were here before that helped put that together. And that kind of blew me away. And then a couple of years later, I was sharing that story, and somebody else was like, oh, you're a celestial. I was like, well,
You
I
know
don't
what?
feel very celestial, but
Honestly,
okay, that's what that
this
means.
this go to
So,
show like, okay, we can't think about it because then you go crazy. It's just we know so little about like the whole universe and before the
oh, yeah.
universe and da 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 da. That's why it's like I used to like seek, try and find information, da da da. Now I just kind of chill out because it's just infinite. It's like infinite. It's like when I first started doing the woo 30 years ago, it was like just a few people who gonna be starseed or now everybody's intuitive. Now everybody has to be psychic and become doing that for a living. You could be a plumber, a mother, da da da. Everybody, and plus, a lot of you know that planetary wise, humanity as a whole, supposed to like the veil thinning and yada yada yada, all that whole story. The most interesting thing is the ET disclosure. I can't wait, but I have to see it for myself. Now I've had seen stuff experiences with that, which maybe I'll share on my channel. But rather than go, oh, I'm gonna go research on that or listen to so many different channels, and the more I listen to everybody, the confusing it, could everybody sharing their little pieces. But I feel going back, I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. But this goes back to seeing the room and what's in front of us already. But we
Mhm.
can't, it's too many things in front of us to know everything. So that goes back to the universe. We only know so little because it's too many. Like just listening to Sherry talk
Our
about her being
brains can't
there
comprehend.
before the
Yeah.
universe, it's like, but it makes sense. Like they're part of us that go, yeah, yeah, that could be. I understand that.
Yeah. It's like our brains can't quite comprehend the vastness of it all,
Yeah, just so
what that includes. It's like you sit and think about it for very long, and
I don't
it's
anymore. I
almost
bother.
frightening because it's like what you're like a little speck in this
Yeah,
vastness that
I mean,
and it's like, yeah,
what does that even mean? Like, and I'm not even trying like before the universe would even be. You know what I mean? It's like what? So that's why I just let it go because. But there's a part of me that
yeah,
go, okay. I think that the knowing that we have, like, that makes sense. You know, right?
exactly.
It's like I'm not surprised that she said that, but at the same time, what the heck does that really mean? Are we
Exactly. We have 5 questions. They're mostly spiritual questions.
all right?
So
Well,
if you feel
try.
comfortable trying to read on them, you can. If you don't feel anything coming, don't worry about it. I'll do it.
Yeah,
You
I'll
can
do it,
you
but
can
I
fill
don't
in
know
the extra.
what the question.
So the first one is Edward. Do my spirit guides have any guidance for the rest of January?
Well, one thing the spirit guide telling me because going back to what we said, how the universe is so infinite, it's like you're trying to figure out in your life right now, like what is going on. But the thing is, you have to live in the moment and just kind of go with that. Um, so the guidance is to just be in a moment. I don't know if that makes sense, Edward, but that's what came right off the bat because sometimes we want to know and it's not going to happen like that all the time. So the spirit guides like just be within the moment for the rest of January. And it might even require you to, because especially if you're having challenging time and you want to know, but it's really literally like be in a moment. Could be simple as knitting or watching the show or going to another room and paint. Or it's like that for you. I don't know, Edward. That's what I'm getting, especially for
It's
January.
amazing you got that because the card I pulled says here and now.
Ha! Hey, hey, hey,
And
hey!
it means being fully present in the moment, living one
Yes.
day at a time. It says everything happens in the now, in the present. Only this moment counts. You have what it takes to handle anything today if you let go of the need to look into the future or reflect on the past. And so I think this is just Spirit's way of reminding you that you're in the now. You're very conscious of what's going on. You're very helpful to others. You're very uplifting to other readers, other intuitives and stuff. You're on a lot of our channels, you're in the chat, you're
You're a
participating
bit intuitive. By the way, don't you hate that when
very
you
much
get
so.
into like that?
Yes.
Be in the now. I'd be like, what the heck would that mean? I want something more. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Well, that was me when I got that. Oh, you're from the before time. And the way she said it was like, no big deal. I was
Right?
like, that doesn't make sense. What does that mean?
Yeah.
And it took like several back and forths before I finally grasped the meaning of what she was trying to tell me. And I was like, oh my God.
You mean about being from before the universe? Yeah, I would. I still don't. I would be like, woo, you know.
Did you ever see the movie Lucy with Scarlett Johansson?
I keep hearing about it. I'm gonna
That
watch that.
is the most awesome movie. It's through incidences that happen at the beginning of the movie, she winds up having these really potent drugs like directly ingested into her body, which literally her brain starts developing past the average 10% that we're able to use our brain
Right.
across the scale. And so as her brain gets up to the next level, 20%, 30%, 50%, it's like different things start happening that she can just do because her brain can now see those connections that's blind to the rest of us. And
Like that. Us not seeing what's in front of us. Right.
right. I mean, there's this one scene where she's like in a car with a cop and they could see that the bad guy was like on the phone, but they had no way of hearing what he was saying. And she was like, "Oh yeah, wait a minute." And suddenly you see her looking at the window sill, at the the front window sill, and you see all of these lights, like strings of lights that are coming down, and she like reaches out and starts pulling them aside and pulling them aside, and then suddenly she sees one and she plucks it out, and you can hear everything that guy's saying because you just pulled out his connection in the universe of what he was thinking and saying and doing. And it's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Right.
It's
So
like,
that go to show how much we don't know what's
yeah,
there.
I'm not going to say the end of the movie because you haven't seen it yet and
Oh
don't want to
yeah, I
ruin
know.
it.
Oh yeah.
But it's like the way the movie ends makes so much sense. It was like, oh, literally, I remember sitting back in my chair going, oh, oh, wow. Oh, wow, wow. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It was like, whoever wrote that story, whoever saw that and wrote it, is like, dude, you were connected because the
Now you
minute
got
I see
hey,
it in the
now I
movie,
gotta watch it.
I'm like, yeah, that's exactly right. And that's how I get spoken to a lot by spirit is through movie scenes, TV scenes,
Yeah.
songs that I've heard, and that's where the message will come from. And
Probably that's why those movies are there. They kind of plot, help us to kind of give us kind of like you can't experience the universe, but they could kind of go. It kind of feels like it sounds like this. So it shows up in a Lucy movie, or it shows up in this. Cause like every time I've done a few readings with you, you'll get a movie scene.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, that's just the way it comes to me is that picture in my head. And it's like the first few times it happened, I would literally sit there and think to myself, I can't say that.
Yeah.
They're going to think I'm crazy. And then if I say it out loud anyway, then the person's like, oh my God, that's my favorite scene in that movie, or that was their favorite movie, or that was their favorite song, or whatever. And so it took me a little bit to realize, oh, okay, there's a reason why they show me these pictures because people connect through that. They hear that movie scene talked about or that song talked about, and they're like, that's it exactly. So that's kind of wild. Let's see. Okay, so
I know
Karina's
I'm all
asking,
over the place,
do you
but
foresee our building going to court, or does the landlord know we have so much evidence on them that they will
I
settle?
do feel it on your side.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give you legal advice,
I don't know about settling, but
but it feels like the law is going to, the decision is going to go in your favor. Luck is on your side. That's the first card that came up.
oh, jeez.
And then it says treat yourself. So you've got luck is on your side, treat yourself. So that tells me right there, it's going to go in your direction. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't know about the settling thing, but I would take that it's going to be on your side thing. It's because it's something sneaky, evident they're not going to be able to um, go
Yeah,
against you.
the evidence is going to be enough that it's going to be able to wipe out
And let us
whatever
know.
it is. Yeah,
Let us know.
absolutely. Okay, let's see. Frida wants to know, will Noam, or AKA the puppy killer, be
This
removed
is
from
where it
her
gets
position
challenging for
before
me. I've been
spring?
learning how to read. Of course, in my head, I'm like, yes. Like I want it before spring, of course. But let's see. Is it going to
Do we
be
learn?
before spring? When is spring? Spring is what? April?
Yeah, March, April, depending on what part of the country you're in. Some parts of the country, spring doesn't happen until June or July. I mean,
Yeah.
Um, okay, will Noam be removed from her position before March 2026? No, before April of 2026. Yes. Oh, wow, I did a direct change
I was
there.
going to
So
say, I was
look
wondering if
for it happening in April. So,
or even
and that's
before.
generally thought of as springtime is March and April. So, um,
Let's see. Let me see. Let me see what the card said. I mean, I haven't used the
yeah,
card.
yeah.
I mean, she's going to feel betrayed. I got the Ten of Swords and the Three of Swords, which is disappointment. But then I get the Page of Pentacle because she's just too slow. Some of his people are very slick, and that's why they last a long time. But she's not slick, even though she's not great. Yeah,
Well, they're
so
going to throw her under the bus to protect themselves.
they
That's
already
going to be
are.
what
I
they want.
mean,
So yeah, I'm getting it's going to happen by April.
it
I
could be
could be off
because
a few months, but that's what I'm getting.
yeah,
So,
because she was already in court for other things for before all this. So this on top of it, and you're having people marching from all over the USA and other countries saying so it's not a good look for her.
yep. Okay, Dibs asks, ask not for whom the bell tolls, but I gotta. Any idea when dear leader will become dearly departed? This it's going to happen this year. That's what
I
I
you
keep
know
reading.
I've been guys I've been watching all these lovely political psychics.
And it's something we should never hope for is the demise of someone else. I would rather see him.
Let's see what the card said. I'm
I would
curious.
rather see him get charged and convicted and jailed for whatever time he has left, um, as opposed to just checking out.
The, the problem is that this guy is teaching something for the world. Like it's a global thing, you know. So what happened is have you seen like George, what's his name? He was the husband of Kelly Conway. George
Yeah,
wanted
George Conway. Yeah,
they're creating you guys heard of this, that it's gonna help with the Constitution creating boundaries, that boundaries.
yeah.
So the reason why it's also taking a long time, besides it being good versus evil, it's creating boundaries in a lot of different countries about how things are be done, and also with we the people here and around the world. Like we saw what happened in Romania and South Korea, where they kicked out the leader like that crazy. It's only because they march, and also in Brazil, Bolsonaro, you know. But here, and that must be challenging because we know that apparently oligarchs and dictators are all banding together and trying to control, the world and all that. So that's
Well,
why
you
I
know,
think it's taking
Trump,
time. But it's what happening is creating more boundaries with these guys
yeah.
through we the
Well,
people. We
will
the
Mr. Trump transition
Yeah, still do
in
that part. I can't
2026?
figure that out.
I'm getting a yes. I'm getting a strong yes.
By
So
when though?
this year, I said in
You know, it's
2026.
funny because if you want some, most intuitives don't say he's dead, but you get some psychics that's like he's already dead and then the body double and da 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 da. Well, that's what I think. If that's true, how did they get an actor, a body double, to act just like him? You know what I mean? And it can't be AI because they're showing on Facebook like those, interviews and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's like it's just the woo guy when the woo time. You know what
He's
I
the
mean?
front man. He's not. He's
No,
not
he's a
really the
front man.
one making the decisions and calling out the strikes. Stephen Miller and others are the ones that are doing it, and then they're like, "Okay, this is what happened. This is what you need to tell
Yeah, I'm sorry,
them."
Dib. I don't know about when he dearly departed because I get mixed in. Is he already gone? He's not gone. Um,
Okay, last question, and
Also
then
timeline shift and things like that. But it's this year. I'll take that. What did Mark Ruffalo say? Mark Ruffalo said, according to Maria, Sunday on the red carpet at the Golden Globe, the Congress and Senate are bought by corp America and not for the people, and that worries him and all of us too.
yep.
Well, that's why all the we the people marching, it's probably scaring them because that's happening all over.
Well,
Like in
if
Iran,
you
like those
remember
people.
back about 2 months ago when Kamala Harris's new book came out, and her first interview was she went on Jimmy Kimmel. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, or it might have been no, it was on Stephen Colbert.
Colbert? Okay.
And of course, the question came up: Are you going to run again? And she kind of danced around the topic, and he kept coming back to the question. And then she finally said, "Not at this time."
Right? Interesting.
And so then the question was, well, what does that mean? Are you thinking about running
Because
in
the
8 years
system needs a lot
instead
of
of in
work,
four
right?
years? And she said, it's much more difficult now because I'm on the outside looking in as opposed to being on the inside looking out. And then they started talking about that. And then she said, at one point, he said to her, "You predicted everything that's happening with this man.
Oh,
You
totally.
you flat out predicted practically word for word everything that this man has done." And he said, "Is there anything that you regret about that? Or is there anything that you didn't expect?" And her answer was, "I didn't expect total capitulation of the rest of the government, of the Congress, of the Senate, of the Supreme Court, of leadership across the country." She was like, "I knew he was going to do all the things he's doing." She says, "What I didn't see was the complete capitulation of our lawmakers, of everyone just bowing their heads and saying, 'Yes, your Lord,'
Yeah.
and
You
doing
know
what he
what?
said."
I'm really curious.
And she was like, "That's the only thing I didn't see," because she's very psychic herself, very much so. And she's actually talked about it in the past about, when she worked on cases or this, that, or the other, and she would get that intuitive hit. You need to
Well,
look
for
this
example,
direction or that direction, and then it would take her straight to the information she needed. Um, but she said that that was the one thing that surprised her and upset her the most was that she did not see everybody just rolling over and playing dead.
You know what I
And think,
think it is, honestly? I think it had to do something with, besides that, probably a lot of people involved, or they're afraid, or it could just be that Democrat need to learn how to fight back. The list goes
yeah,
on, right? They show the unlimited possibilities of what it's about. Going back to the Avengers, the
it was
timeline
hard enough.
shift and the
Yeah, it
people.
was hard enough for this country to accept a black man as president, to turn around and be asked to accept a woman who's brown of being president. And there is still a lot of extreme misogyny in this country, more so than just
I mean, because we had a white woman and
regular.
we had a brown woman getting screwed over.
Yeah,
So,
well, it usually takes the
Hillary,
brown women to come in and clean up the mess
yeah.
so
Um,
the white people can look and sit pretty. But that was that was the answer I got when I went to my guys, was just that
Rita had a good
our
question.
people are just, or the majority of those in leadership, those with the money behind them and whatnot, they do not respect women. They do not care about women. They literally hate women and want them to go back to being ignorant, barefoot, and pregnant in the kitchen. You know, so a strong, intelligent woman who knows what she's talking about terrifies them. And that is reflected in a lot of everyday good old boy people who feel the same damn way, and it's
It does kind of help that we do have other women. There are not many, but we do have other women leaders around the world. I think in Ireland they just have a woman prime minister. I don't know what they're called there. But Rita said, "How can the corruption be purged when it's running rampant and no one doing anything about it?" Rita, I think that's what it is. We're seeing it. Going back to that room I talked about where there are too many things, and so now we're starting to see, all of us, the different levels of corruption. I mean, we knew, but we didn't really understand. But going back to, again, it doesn't mean everybody corrupt, or that people who maybe were neutral to maybe not the best, that they wouldn't suddenly wake up. That might start popping up in the room too. So it's like what we focus on. So it goes back to like why in the beginning I said about the reading. I hope this makes sense. Where I said I was seeing things, but I couldn't stay it because I wasn't able to handle the bad news, or maybe wasn't. It's something I have a hard time with.
right.
So we're learning about seeing the bad thing, but don't assume like that's it with doom. Da 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 da. It could be like we need to see the bad thing, but it doesn't mean it could. The corruption, there are good guys too, or even if the guys are not great, they're still going to do the right thing. Like, for example, how long it took the Republican Congress to finally start siding in with the Democrats. So it got so bad that you got Randy Rand, what his name, Randy Rand, what
Yeah, I don't even remember.
like the five
Something like
guys
that.
the five Republican they needed to make something happen where it went against the guy. Why they suddenly now? So sometimes that push come to shove thing does help, and da da da. So even though it's so rampant and it's like depressing, it's like, oh my god. But I can't hide. I can't go under the stand. Like, I have to see it. But then
Right,
don't be all doom and gloom and go, okay, that's it. We're screwed. That's it. Everything is da 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 da. We got to keep fighting. We got to keep
right,
going.
exactly. You got to keep on keeping on. Okay, Anne, your guides, what they have, the first thing that came up,
I cheat when I ask
it
questions.
says not for you. And what that basically means is that there are times when the things that you want, that you're trying to manifest, it's not the right time for you to have in the moment. That either it's never going to be yours because it's not meant for you, or it's not meant for you right now, it's down the road before you're going to get there.
You know,
And
you
then
know
I
what?
got the fates, and that's talking about fate, karma, acceptance, that there are things you cannot change, and knowing what those things are. And that's part of maturity, of knowing, all right, A happens because of what B, C, and D did, and F happens because of what they didn't do. So it's being able to look at that and go, where do I fall in that kind of parameter? And I think it's important for it's important to remember that what is meant for you in the right time will come to you in the right time. You just have to believe it. And if there is something you really truly want that you're manifesting really hard to get, and it seems like it's just not coming, very well could be the exact message of, it's not meant for you now. Maybe 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, or 30 years from now, but not right this minute.
You
You
know
have
what's
to wait.
interesting? This
And
validate what Sherry was saying. Could here it got yield, patience, the heart, and personal power. So it had to go with like it's not meant for you kind of thing, or
yeah,
try see it in a different way, or it could be another possibility that's coming to you besides what you think is going on. So it's about having patience because you want certain things certain way that have to do with your heart. But part of that manifestation had to do with also seeing there might be something better or something that you haven't thought of. So it goes exactly where what Cherry was saying.
yep,
This just validated what she was saying. I don't even have to say much. She pretty much said
yeah.
it.
No, it just that's the biggest thing that they're putting out, and I think they're giving it to everybody because I've gotten this message for other people on other shows doing different readings where it's been, now is not the time.
Mm.
You just have to keep working at it, or fine tune down what it is you want and manifest on that and that only until it happens. Don't let all the other crap come flooding in, because then you lose your focus on what you're trying to manifest. That's one of my problems. It's like, yeah, I really want this one thing, and then 50 things pop up around me, and I get distracted, and so I lose that momentum of that focus. And I think that's part of what spirit is wanting us to learn, is to focus in on where we need to be and what we need to do. And I think that as our focus becomes stronger, the clearer we will hear our own message of what's to happen.
I mean, that goes perfect with, I forget who questioned about when the Orange Menace will demise.
Yeah,
If he had died earlier, he would have been a martyr.
yeah,
Right now, he's causing so much to make the Red Hat go, this guy maybe, you know.
maybe nuts. Yeah,
So it's
so
like we want him gone now, but if he had, he would have been a martyr and nothing would have got settled. So that timing
exactly.
thing you mentioned, like
So
all of us have to be patient. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the hard part, is because we want things and we want them right now. And it's like,
Yeah.
right now is not the best time to get it or to have that happen. You need to wait. And none of us like to wait. We live in a very instant society. Instant food, instant drink, instant travel. We can hop on our computer and go anywhere in the world that we want to go and talk to people from around the globe. And it's fantastic and wonderful. But, oh, thank you, Anne, for the super sticker. That's really sweet of you.
That's nice.
Um, that
You, you get a heart for that for her.
it's yeah, it's really, it can be really hard sometimes to stay on focus and not deviate from that. And with that said, we're going to wrap this up because I got to be somewhere else in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm
And
sorry.
so I need time to go to the bathroom and get my
Yeah,
brain wrapped in that direction. And I'll be back tonight. Well, at what time?
that's awesome. What time you
At
said?
6 p.m. Central Time. For members, we're having our members only live stream. So that's when the it's members only, and y'all can ask any question, and we'll go through as many questions as we can squeeze in that time frame. And then 10 o'clock tonight is a slumber party. If you've ever wanted to be a part of the slumber party, like on camera,
If I stay
email
out,
me at um, email me at swampvoices@gmail.com. And there you go. It's up on the screen. Just shoot me an email and just put in there, I want to come on tonight, and I'll send you the link.
that'd be fun if
And so,
you guys do
as
that.
y'all know, you get a choice, a naughty or a nice card. So sometimes you get both. It just depends on the mood. But it's a lot of fun. So,
Thank you.
you know,
And remember, March 28th, she'll be on my
March 28th, I'm going to be on Silvia's channel. That'll be a lot of fun. And I'll be back late after the members live stream slumber party tonight, and open invitation. There's my email address.
Take
If
advantage of it. Take
you want to
advantage.
go on screen, if you're not afraid to be on camera, and if you got a deck of cards, any kind of cards, because you can turn a nice deck into a naughty deck. Just add a few curse words or something, turn it negative,
If they're
whatever.
shy with their faith, they can still show up with their voice, right?
Exactly. So, and yeah, we have fun every Saturday night. So, thank you, Sylvia, for coming back, and
Thank you,
I'm
Sherry.
glad you're back in the saddle again and slowly gearing back up. And people have missed your voice, and y'all have a great afternoon.
And I'm glad that you're
I
around still.
I'm still kicking.
There you go.
One day at a time. I'm still kicking. So, y'all have a great afternoon. I'll be back at 6 o'clock Central for the members only live stream, and then at 10 o'clock Central tonight for the slumber party. And we answer as many questions as we can, usually like upwards of 50 questions that get
Wow.
answered.
All
So
right.
it depends on how many people show up for the panel as to how fast we get through them all. If it's me, myself, and I, will be there all night. Y'all
Shaking
be
it out.
calling me on the phone, waking me up. Say, Sherry, wake up. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great afternoon, and we will talk again soon. Bye for now.